you take a moment or two to discuss hedge timelines versus their counterpart positions as far as expirations? Yeah, I just did, Grant. So the basic rule of thumb here, this is when you want to take a trade. Now, this is called toe in the water. This is called toe in the water. When you want to just like stick your toe in the water and like um, just sort of get a position on, usually with a pilot position, but you're not fully convicted. You're really waiting for confirmation, a break of a level or whatever, but you want to take the trade, toe in the water kind of thing. Then you go out like, maybe you go out 2 weeks. You could go maybe out 1 to 2 weeks. And if you do that, then just go with a 5 wide or less vertical. There's really no need for a hedge at this point. But then when you lean into the trade, where you're like, all right, I'm confirmed. How do I know I'm confirmed? Because I'm going out 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going with probably the monthly option. Like, let's say May, at this point, it would be May 16th. Okay. And I got those. Well, now I think I need a hedge. So what am I going to hedge? Next Friday. Because I don't want to hold that hedge and hold that hedge and hold that hedge. Because I'm expecting this thing to move to the downside. If I get a short-term pop along the way, that is what the hedge protects me. Does that make sense? I forget who asked the question, but yeah. And Eagle Eye has seen this lesson before. So yeah, and you want it to be cheap, and you want to be out of the money. And if you can have it be naked, sometimes they're just too expensive naked, but the idea is to have it naked. So here's one last rule of thumb on that. Let's just say, and I'll use the example that we just did. I short NVIDIA. And let's see. I short NVIDIA, and I'm putting a trade on for May 16th. So I'm thinking, well, I've got, a good amount of risk. And so let me hedge with SMH. Keep it clean, boys. There's ladies in the room, So you could go SMH and say, well, where are we at 38? So I went SMH and I went sort of like at the money. Let's say slightly, let's see right here, 37s. Yeah, so the 37s are like $1.30, $1.40. That's too much for a hedge, right? Even if I went 36, the problem with going 36 is the expected move is probably only going to be like $2. So not even, right? So I just, I don't know. I think it's too expensive. So the first thing is go next week. I'm sorry, I'm on puts here. I should be looking at calls. Sorry. It'll end up being around the same. Let's say I go with the $40 calls. Yeah, I'll buy a little more expensive, $1.60. Sorry about that. So if I'm in NVIDIA, and I got puts for NVIDIA for May 16th, and I'm leaning in, and I even added by doing a little Avgo trade too. I want some exposure to Avgo. I don't think I would be trading both of these because it's a duplication. Just stick with one. But let's just say you had both, and you're like, I need to get some calls in SMH, right? And this is not SMH. So here we go. So I go to SMH and I go, let's see, what is it? It's 192. So I'm going to buy like the 195s. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look what the 195s are. They're like $400 for the hedge. Even if I got the 200s, this is too expensive. So I'd have to get a vertical. So rather than do that, I could go to Soxal, which is a leveraged product, and I could buy calls here. It's $9. I could buy the $10 calls, see how much they are. Look at that. $10 calls for 42 cents. You see? So if I get a triple here, not bad. Bring in $120. That's not bad. Let's say I make, let's say a little bit more than a triple. I can make $100. Let's say I can make $100 on each one of these. And I got 300 in NVIDIA, and I got 150 in Avgo. I've got 450 at risk. I will take this thing off if I lose 70%. All right. So if I'm going to lose 70%, that's 450 times 70%. That means I'll recover $315. Well, I'm going to lose $315, right? That would be my loss at 70%. So could I buy 3 of these? Does it make sense to buy 3 of them? Probably not. I probably would buy 2 of them. It cost me 84 cents. Because if I just got 2 of them, it would cost me $84, which is small considering the $450 that I'm spending here. An extra $84, that seems worth it for insurance, right? So for $84 though, if this thing gives me like a 3x trade where I can make, let's say 200 bucks. Well, look, I lost 315. If I made 200 on this net, it means I only lost 115 on the whole damn trade. That's great. That's a great way of looking at it. So I don't hedge to make up the entire amount. I just say to myself, well, if I got 300 in this one, then 150 in this, I got 450 at risk. I'm going to bail out on this thing at 70%. I'm going to lose around 300 bucks. Let me hedge 1 or 2 of these cheap little calls on Soxal. And that way, if it goes the other way, boom. Yeah, you kind of mitigate the pain. And it's a great risk reward, right? So that's kind of how I think of it. And again, if it's May 16th, I'm getting the Soxal call, the $10 call, let's just say, for next Friday. And let's say it gets a little bit of a movement. And I can make a couple, $100. Great, made $100, done. Does it mean I close my shorts out for May? No. It means I take that $100 and guess what that goes towards? That lowers the cost of the short. And then I got what? I got the next week after that if I want to. Get another hedge for the next week. Exactly. Very good. Yeah. See, this all falls under the category of what I said when I first came on, right? Is like no emotion, get out of your head, keep that over here, and just have a plan, have allocation, have your targets, have your cut loss areas where you're gonna cut, hedge when you need to hedge, track everything. This is how you act like a professional. And everything we've been talking about over the last few minutes is literally just, it's all this, right? Read what's happening here. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You get out at 70%. That's why you start with a pilot position, right? Then you lean into the trade, you add if it's appropriate to add. If you add too much, make sure you hedge. The hedge pays, great. Cash the money in, take off the trade. Or stay in the trade. Manage it, work it. That's what this is what professional trading is, how it all kind of comes together under the category of behave like a professional.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.